Bonjour people and welcome back to another review. This time we are looking at the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Cliffjumper. This is not the first edition, this is the second version of the character that came out. So here he is. He is a muscle car like he was in the show, and it's a very, very good vehicle mode, I think. You have some weapon storage up here. We'll start with this. Is this meant to be Mjolnir or something? It can double as a gun, but it's also an axe, hammer sort of thing. It's weird. But having a look at Cliff himself, he is a stunning vehicle mode. Obviously red is his main colour. You've got clear plastic for the windows, so essentially you can see inside, but there's nothing again to actually see inside. There's no seat detailing or anything. He comes with the horns on the top of the bonnet. They are a soft rubber, so you're not going to poke anything or cause any damage to yourself. The front grille is very nicely detailed. We'll try and... there we go. Very nicely detailed with all the grille lines and the headlights. He's got exhausts there. He's got silver hubs on his wheels. He's got silver bumper along the back, so that's nicely painted as well. And then you come to the underside. It's not very subtle as to what becomes what, unfortunately. You can see his head poking out there. You can see a faux chest. You can make out that these are his feet. These are probably going to be his arms. So his underside could use a little bit of work, but what can you do? But overall, a really lovely vehicle mode. And we're going to come and bring in Wheeljack, who is his fellow Robots in Disguise. I don't think they were wave mates. Not entirely sure, they could have been. But two deluxe classes from the same line. Here's how they look together. To transform Cliffjumper, what we first want to be doing is coming to the sides and just untabbing everything. And pulling out the bumper as you do it. It's in two bits. And just easy does it. Take all of that apart. And just keep it there for now. We're going to work on the legs next. Split the back. Take this bit, fold it up, and come to the underside, and we're just going to be rotating everything out. You can fold the feet at this point, make them flat. We're going to come back to the top, and we are going to hinge all of that up, so we're just piling it all on itself. Then we're going to rotate him at the waist, and then we're going to take these wheels, and we're going to rotate them round, like so. We're going to come back to the feet, and we're going to rotate the feet round as well. There's a lot of rotation involved with his lower half. We're going to rotate him round. We're going to rotate the horns as we fold that in. No, in fact, we're not going to rotate the horns. We're going to just fold that back, and then we're going to pile all of this on top of that. Now, there is meant to be, very difficult to see, but there is a slot right there in which, in theory, the horns are meant to plug into. There's a tab, a soft rubber tab on the back side of the horns. But as it's soft rubber and it's so small, it doesn't hold in. But that is what you're meant to do. For the sake of this, we're just going to forego it, and we're just going to have all that hang there. We are going to now continue to fold all of this, and that will bring the head up via a gear system. That's a bit of automorph. We're going to rotate the arms so that the red part of the shoulder is facing the front. And then we're going to fold the bumper and straighten out the arms. We're going to rotate it all round so that the bumper is to the back. Or should I say the headlights, really. I pulled that off by accident. There's always something I do accidentally in these reviews, isn't there? Fortunately, that just clips back in. It's kind of a friction peg that might actually permanently come off if I'm not careful enough with it. Let's rotate the fist out. This arm transformation has a few similarities with the Dark of the Moon top spin in terms of how it works. So rotate that and push it in, and then you fold that flush against the inside of the arm. So on the other one, we want to be doing the same thing. We're going to be straightening it. We're going to be rotating it there. We're going to move the hand out for a start. Then we're going to be folding that in. Once you get to that position, fold out the hand fully, and then continue to collapse it, and just push the window up against the inside of the arm. So here's Cliffjumper in robot mode. Unlike several other Prime characters, he's not particularly accurate to his animation model, and that's actually where the first edition figure knocks this one out of the park. I don't quite know what they were going for, whether they were just trying to differentiate this guy enough from that first edition one. I don't know why, but hey, he's fine. He's fine looking. But if you're after accuracy, the other one is the go-to one. If you'd like to look at his weapon, he can obviously hold it in his hand like that. He can also hold it lengthways, he says, as he doesn't do that accurately. It's a bit finicky because his hand is on a ball joint, so it swivels a lot. But he can also hold it a bit like a gun. But because the way it's sculpted and everything, he can't really hold it straight. Well, I mean, he sort of can. But his arm will fall down a little bit like that. Anyway, it's weird. But he can hold it like that. He also does have some back storage, so you can just plug that back in there if you like. But again, in terms of profile, while he's not that accurate to the cartoon, he still looks fine. You know, he's got a lot of kibble, but it's not the most egregious thing in the world, honestly. It would just be a bit more handy if it all tabbed in a bit more securely. But from the front, he's good. Like with the Wheeljack figure, he suffers from monkey arm syndrome. And his arms are way too long. They are way too long. They go right down to his knees. I mean, it's a little bit off-putting, but I like the symmetricalness of his shoulders. I like his head sculpt. You know, it's nice. It's silver. It's detailed. It's got light piping, albeit silver light piping, but light piping nonetheless, so that's cool. He retains a lot of detail throughout the robot mode. He's got red shoulders. He has a faux chest, which again, for first edition, does not have a faux chest. It's just a much cleaner figure. But it's detailed and it's nicely painted, and he's got, you know, like a grill lower torso coming down his legs. Again, they retain some nice paint. You've got silver kneecaps. You have dual grey toes on his feet, unfortunately, but it's fine. It's a passable robot mode. In terms of articulation, he does have a ball jointed head, but because of all the stuff around him and the gears along his collar, he can't look around all the way, so he can do left and right. He can tilt his head down, but he can't look up at all. I forgot to mention that his horn's also really soft rubber. Safety features, yay! His shoulders are ball jointed, so they can go all the way around, and they can go up that far, well, across that far rather. He has a hinged elbow, so he can rotate it up a good 90 degrees plus. His hands are on ball joints, so you've got a significant range of motion there, but they are hindered because of the car doors that form his arms. He has waist swivel all the way round. Yay! He can spread his legs a ridiculous amount. That's really good. They can rotate slightly. They are on ball joints after all. He has excellent knee articulation, and his feet are on ball joints, so you've got every range of motion under the sun that you could possibly imagine with them. So in terms of articulation, he is really good. But there is just plenty of kibble on him, unfortunately. In terms of a size comparison, here he is next to Wheeljack from the RID line, and here he is next to RC. This is a scale that doesn't work. She should be a lot smaller. I think she wouldn't scale very well with the Prime first edition Cliffjumper either. They'd probably be very similar, and again, that's not accurate. So that's Cliffjumper. I think on the whole, he is a decent figure. He has a few issues. He's got a lot of kibble on him. He isn't very animation accurate. He has all of that hollow. That's not very good. And he has back kibble, which doesn't particularly plug in very well. But he's a passable deluxe. You know, he's got fantastic articulation. He looks nice from the front, albeit he's oddly proportioned. So I would, honestly, oh god, that probably doesn't stay up because of, you know, general play over the years. I've had him a long time. Oh dear. But anyway, I think I would still recommend him. I would obviously say get the first edition figure if you can, but the first edition line is notoriously very difficult to get now, just because of the sheer nature of them and because they were completely flawless. But he's a good substitute if you can't get the original figure. He serves his purpose. He does look good. He does. I think he does. And he is an excellent vehicle mode as well. And the transformation is actually quite fun to do. So that's Cliffjumper. I do recommend him. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.